So we're out for a peaceful evening stroll here. And we laughed because everything around us is in progress, it's in process. Nothing seems like it's in order or it's ready, but I think that that's the way that life is sometimes, is that we just kind of have to, we live in the middle. So here we are.
Where are we going?
We're in the middle. We are just walking around a little bit, walking around our property here. So yeah, I think I just wanted to share a little bit about where we are and where we're doing this from. I think that, you know, at least I think we had the idea that, you know, if we wanted to have space or do things with animals or grow things or have gatherings, large gatherings of people, that we really needed a ton of space and we needed a unique property. Well, we can stop walking maybe here.
Okay.
Because I'm getting winded. I think we felt like we needed 20 acres, or we needed like 5 acres, like, and we needed established buildings to be able to host people, to be able to just kind of go deeper into some things that we started. We have 4 kids with 1 on the way, and just wanting space for them. But when we made the transition to move here a couple of years ago, we thought we needed 5 acres minimum.
Yep.
But
we only got 2. But we're in a more urban or suburban location, closer to urban locations.
Yeah, so we have 1.95 acres, and we're in the middle of a neighborhood, and it's been such a great, it's been a great place to build from.
We're the weird neighbors.
We're the weird neighbors, but we are neighbors. We're not out in the middle of nowhere where we don't have anybody to interact with. We're right in the middle of things, but we have enough space to really practice some of the things that we've been interested in but just didn't know how to start. Yeah,
I was reading somewhere the other day in a Facebook group that we're in, and there was a woman who's on like 1/8 of an acre, and she was frustrated, and the recommendation from everyone in that group was just start where you are, because you have to be able to steward 1/8 of an acre to be able to steward 8 acres to be able to steward 80 acres. And so that's kind of what we're stepping into. I mean, we're really happy here. That's not to say that we want 80 acres or anything like that, but that we wanted to step into stewarding what it is that we do have. So
absolutely. And where we started with home ownership was in a row house in Baltimore with, I don't know how big that back patio was, maybe
tiny, like
20
square feet. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was tiny.
It was a very, very small space.
Enough for a grill.
There was enough room for a grill, and there was a bed that we didn't know what to do with.
So we put strawberries in, and the rats ate it.
Yeah, and so, you know, but we started somewhere. We planted strawberries for the first time 8 years ago today. And I don't think we ate a single one of those. I'm pretty sure they were all chewed up by the rats.
So gross.
But we planted strawberries again this month. Now we have probably 50 or 60 strawberry plants in the ground in an 18 by 24 foot area with plenty of room to spare, and we're revisiting that again. And so I just love that we started something and then we're getting to revisit
2.0.
it. This is, yeah, at least 2.0.
Okay, so this is our whole lot. Ignore how high our weeds are. Our neighbor doesn't think it's intentional, but it is intentional. We have a giant compost bin that we're gonna start here soon. I built 8 by 8 by 4 feet tall, and so it's a lot of space to fill. So I'm letting this get nice and high. I'll probably cut it tomorrow or something, and hopefully use the clippings to start with our compost. This will be our green stuff that we throw in there. We also have pine shavings, and we have lots of chickens, as you'll see. one of these days, but so we needed some greenery to start our compost bin. We'll be starting that soon.
So yeah, I think this was the property that no one loved. Our neighborhood is actually, we've discovered since being here that it's super family oriented as far as generationally. There are several families in here who are now into their third generation of I guess even fourth generation of families living in this neighborhood and coming back and just investing in family, and that's super cool. We didn't know that when we came in, but we discovered it. But even with the desire that everyone has had to get back in the neighborhood, this was the house that no one wanted.
You just get to see me for a minute.
You can tell them its history a little bit.
So our lot was the swimming pool lot that was never built. So that's why it's so much bigger. It's also clear cut. So we have like 6 trees. And it's a blank slate, tabula rasa, if you will. And we're filling in the gaps. So
yeah, and before us, it's real interesting to see how we've come into the neighborhood. So this is close to Furman University, where both Jonathan and I went to school, and there are a lot of Furman grads and Furman professors who still live in the neighborhood. We're just down the hill from the Furman president's house, and we didn't even fully realize some of those details until we got in and got settled. But before we got here, there was a fraternity that lived in the house, and it was vacant for a while.
They had lots of ragers and bonfires in our courtyard.
And so we went from being in a space where some of our creative process, some of our growth curves were not as much appreciated, to coming here and being really warmly welcomed and celebrated as a growing family. And so we just are so appreciative that that we've been able to come to a space where we can grow, we can learn. We're not going to get it right. It's not going to be pristine all along the way, but we're going to keep cycling through and keep improving. So one of the things we're in the middle of right now, I guess you can see it behind us, is our enormous composting project. So we decided that if we're going to be growing things, one of our main goals is to, excuse me, somebody is really chatting over there. One of our main goals is that we want to be a blessing to the land and not just take from the land. And so part of our process is to feed back in and to pour back into our property. So, you know, if you Google composting bins, it's a 3-bin structure, and we have learned in our process that if there's a power tool involved that we can use, we'll be more likely to do it. By we, I mean some of us more than others. So if it was down to whether or not we were going to get out here with a pitchfork and a shovel to turn our compost, I don't know that we would get out and do it. But because we have a composting bin that's big enough to fit our tractor bucket in for turning and moving and even relocating onto the property, we're very excited.
I really like power tools.
To be able to integrate that into our yard and our lifestyle. So anyway, this project has been started, and we will
probably finish it tomorrow or the day after.
It out soon. We need to wire it, and we'll get maybe some backing on it so we can have a pretty view from our porch of our composting. These guys really like our piles that we've accrued. So since quarantine started, we actually have these piles that we've been working with and integrating into the property. Their first delivery was this massive, now shrunken bit of compost, organic compost. Jonathan, can you tell us, where did you get that from?
We got that from Atlas Organics. It's in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And they brought a dump truck load. At the beginning of the coronavirus outbreak, there was a huge demand for dump truck loads of compost.
Organic
so we had to
compost.
wait a couple weeks to get it, actually. Luckily with the mulch, we were able to get that pretty quickly.
It came in time. And so then we got this load of mulch to, did it cut off?
No.
We got this load of mulch to go on top of some of our plantings and things we were planting, which we hadn't even made yet once we had these deliveries. And then finally, in all the midst of our gardening and some of the stuff, we had some really kind neighbors walking by and sharing with us, and they happened to get a contact with an arborist in our area, and they just flagged them over to have them drop off these wood chips. And so we've got a really great start to our garden amendments and our future composting structure, which we centered between our garden and our coop. So our chicken coop will be the producer of some of the compost material, and then the garden will be the consumer. So we're pretty excited about just the system of it kind of coming, the system of it coming together. So yeah, we're pumped.